365 Days of Horsemanship, day 259. I am actually filming this a little late. The weather that day was way more horrible than it is today. Today the sun is out and it is so gorgeous. And it was not as gorgeous when I came on day 259. I had some time that day, but the weather, it was snowing and raining and super cold. And I came up in the afternoon because I wanted to be able to give Lawrence some extra food because of the weather being so horrible. And I'd done quite a lot with Mia, and so I really wanted the opportunity to just kind of meditate on both of them. I wanted to give Lawrence a little bit extra of my time, and yeah, I definitely learned some good lessons. It was difficult, I think, because I definitely was feeling a little stressed. I was feeling probably stressed because of the weather. I think that, a lot of times we look for kind of very human reasons for why we don't feel good, but actually, we're just as in tune with the world and nature as our animals often. And so I was feeling a little uncomfortable because of that. And I think also I hadn't really been able to give Lawrence much time over the couple of days previous because I'd really spent it with Mia. And so it was also a case of just really kind of thinking about where I wanted us to be, Lawrence and I, and feeling a bit unsure around confidence, I think, playing with different types of support. And so essentially what ended up happening was I came up and I started walking, and it was quite encouraging actually, because I discovered that actually he does change focus and he's more curious than I was catastrophizing, a few days previous when I came back from Elsa's, and I'm like, oh my God, he's not curious. And I have to remember as well, that I think Acasio's really in that box of like hyper curious. And so to compare the two horses, there's always going to be a difference anyway. And so I spent a little bit of time walking, and really walking until those clear focus changes, which feels uncomfortable to me as well, because, my modus operandi, my comfort zone is releasing the pressure on the tiniest little flickers and glances of eyes. But what that doesn't do is help progress or trust, because if it's not really clear to the horse what it is that they've done that's changed the situation, then it's not going to help them learn things. And secondly, they've not really felt that much better. If he's always doing things that are easy for him, he's just going to continue kind of feeling the same as he always did, which is a bit shut down, not really that bothered, quite comfortable, but we're not going to make any progress, and so by not making that progress and not being associated with those really better feelings, I'm not building trust in me as a leader that I can stick with him through things being challenging, and then at the moment things get better, we can be together. So that was definitely felt uncomfortable for me. It felt kind of like this heaviness in my sort of like chest and in my stomach, where I'm like, this is really hard for me. And the weather's going along, and so I was taking these breaks where I was just taking time to rest and just to kind of try to be in flow with him and think about things. I tried a little bit of rocking, I tried a little bit of stroking, I tried a little bit of walking, and it was an uncomfortable session. Afterwards I didn't feel invigorated, I didn't feel full of life. But then when I went home and I reflected, I definitely felt that there was a lot to have learned from the session. And so I feel really positive about that, especially coming back today. Since day 159, I had some really crazy work shifts, and I wasn't able to make it up to the horses for 2 days. And today I only have a very short window. So I'm coming up really for kind of centering myself. And I feel really encouraged when I reflect on the the lessons I learned on that difficult day, because it felt kind of like a dark night of the soul a little bit. And I think sometimes you have to struggle through those things yourself, you know. So it was good. It was really good. And with Mia, I just did a little bit of standing, resting with her, and it was quite an easy session with her, which was really nice. I felt like I was able to put some money in the bank. I was able to spend some time just resting with her, looking out across the horrible, stormy, snowy, rainy environment, and just interacting and reacting to each time she would change her focus, and trying to keep moving anytime she felt concerned or uncomfortable. And it was good practice for me, just good practice working with those ear flicks and those eye flicks. So I'm much more in those situations with Mia. It's an opportunity for me to work on that. With Lawrence, I don't want to play with the ear flicks and the eye flicks any longer. I don't think it's progressive for us. It's not something I want to work on at the moment. Certainly if he's in a rest, if he's resting, then that's perhaps something different. But when he's grazing, that's not something that I can flow with anymore. And so it was really nice to have the opportunity to do that with Mia and really practice my timing and my feel with her. So it was good. So yeah, it was really cold. I then went and I fed Lawrence, and I froze to death waiting for him to finish eating, trying to hang out with him, be a good friend, and but it was good. It was good, and I feel very energized after 2 days away. So yeah, not all bad things. A pretty grey day, but actually some really great learning points.